Come on. Come back online. Come on. You can do it. Oh, looks like we're back online. Maybe? Maybe? I don't know what the hell that was up with. I had 0 indicators on my side that anything was gone. I had to go manually pull up the stream to be like, hey! Okay. So now that we've killed HK50... Oh, you guys missed it, didn't you? Because I was offline. Yeah, so, okay. As I was saying, and forgive me for the repetition, our YouTube friends, but yeah. There was HK, and then he blew up. But it explains everything that was screwed up with this place, basically. I actually forgot about that, because that's the second time now we see the assassination protocols in full tilt. Look, guys, I'm looting just for you. In truth, I'm looting for my companion, because I know there's a few sections where I can't play as my Doom, incredibly cheaty character here. And for those sections, we will be ready. But first we have to fight one of the hardest boss fights I remember in this game. Oh, hang on, save.
Kawana. 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 Norahat.
There you go, guys. I saved him.
Our psychotic urge is all that drives you.
What happened? One moment he was speaking rationally, and then I felt this rage.
I am not speaking to you, alien. Be silent. I would examine the situation as a whole, all of its ties to the Force, and then decide which string to pull, not sever them all at once. Such crude methods grant you nothing. Perhaps, and perhaps in the future, you will remember such a lesson. There are many paths in life, and some are short and empty. Oh, I grow weary of this. Perhaps time will allow my words to take root, if your common sense will not permit it.
Influence lost and gained. Hey Tigran. What is up? And yeah, I still see your tweet there, Sterlings. Wait, we suddenly have quality options? How many viewers do we have right now? Seriously. Because, yeah. Tank droid! This is going to be so satisfying. 1, 2, 3! Screw you, you stupid droid. Puh. It's really weird that we just suddenly have... What you fit... Quality options. And our frame rate's gone down all of a sudden. Which is weird. Something's messed up somewhere. Maybe it's the fact that this is open? Here, let's close this. That seems to have fixed it, because we're back to 30 FPS here. Okay.
Statement. We have arrived too late. The target has evaded us. We must pursue it. Observation. You've likely escaped aboard the orbital shuttle that has been docked here.
Why is remote still
The
there?
control computer likely will have a record of their departure. Query. Have you discovered anything about the shuttle's course?
Yes, I know,
Answer.
Reach.
I have managed to track the shuttle's movement across the shield network. However, the shield network does not stretch over the polar region, which was the shuttle's apparent destination. Statement. Dispatch a unit to the polar region with the last known coordinates and approximate path of the shuttle. They will not escape us again.
Well, this can't be any worse than last time. So that's the hole in the shield network, huh? Doesn't look like much to me.
Looks like a Jedi temple, actually, doesn't it? It's time to rebuild the Jedi Order with the dark side in mind. Seriously, that's what
You've gotta
Atris was going to be
kidding
doing.
me. It's not my fault.
It's not my fault. We really like crash landings here.
Egotistic praise. An excellent shot, even with the prevailing winds. I couldn't have done it better myself. Field assessment. I picked up on the heat forms of the Jedi and his allies. Activate the mines and prime the self-destruct sequences. Relieved statement. Oh, Jedi, it is good to see you intact. We were concerned that shooting down your shuttle would damage you irreparably. Quick clarification. But now that we have found you, we hope that we can facilitate communications. Unnecessary addendum. And put an end to hostilities.
Any reason you shot my ship down?
Unnecessary clarification. We merely wish to cripple your vessel. Once we tracked your coordinates, we were able to deploy several droids in this location. Probing query. We are, however, curious as to why you chose to come to the remnants of the polar Telos irrigation system. There is nothing here that our instruments can detect.
Nice
Either
reach.
threat. But we are looking forward to extracting your motives for coming here when we place you in torture restraints.
Eager threat.
Self-evident answer. Wherever you try to run, we will be there, armed and ready. Rhetorical query. So the query you have posed to us is one we put to you. What are you doing here, we wonder?
They know, Permeus. They know.
Chiding statement. Oh, Jedi. There are as many of us as are needed to capture or kill our targets. Egotistical boast. And there are far more of us than any one Jedi. Destroy one of us, and more shall rise from the wreckage. Unnecessary threat. And our attack protocols are more than a match for you and your allies.
Well, destroying one of you was easy, but killing 3 of you might cause me to break a sweat.
Systems failing, Master. Systems failing, Master. Systems failing, Master.
So, now that we've beaten this group, Hail Hydra. Must loot everything. Ugh. Now you're gonna make me go back and make sure I got the part, because I thought I did. But I am now paranoid. Okay, we do. We're good. Whew. I'll never save you. There's that 1 point in int I've been saving for. Okay, we already got that. And that. What is that? Ah, right. That's the flanking thing. That's not what I want. I want flurry. See you around, Pandemonium. I'm debating when the best time to talk about Atris is. I was kind of debating saving that discussion for later when we encounter her, like, at the end of the game. It depends on the game I'm playing, Arthas, but for this setup, it's better to do a box thing. Because when I do the long thing, it actually looks much worse when I'm streaming. Trust me. Why did we leave Bao-Dur there? Seriously. Why?
Lay down your weapons, and you shall not be harmed.
Hello. No.
I will not warn you again. Drop your weapons, or we shall take them from you.
Do as they say. I sense we will come to no harm.
No.
The loss of your weapons shall be a temporary thing only, and it is necessary. There is much to be gained here without violence.
No! Why am I not allowed to not lose my lightsaber? You can take my lightsaber when you rip it out of my cold, dead hands. And I got a strength of 90, so I'm pretty sure I know who's going to win that particular fight. God damn it.
Why is it that everywhere we go, I end up in a cell? I mean, why did they lock us up? What is this place?
It is a training ground for Jedi.
What? This ice hole?
Yes, it bears the semblance of an academy. But where are all the students? Curious.
You've got to be joking. What is a Jedi Academy doing out here in the middle of nowhere?
It is a place hidden from the galaxy like the academy on Dantooine. But this place... Oh, Atris, you have been clever.
Atris?
It's none of your concern.
Well, the sooner we're out of here, the better. 2 crazy Jedi are more than enough for me. No one told me we were going to be dumped in a nest of Jedi.
And what is it about this place that causes you such fear?
What do you mean? We're in the middle of a bunch of Jedi. You know how they are.
No, I do not. Not in the way you seem to.
What? What are you doing? Get out of my head!
Stop struggling. Let me follow the current. Deep, deeper to its source.
Stop! Stop! Ah!
Ah. With the fear is mingled guilt. It squirms in you like a worm. And the why? Ah. And there is its heart. You surprised me. I could not feel it before. Your feelings are a powerful shield indeed. Do not worry, Atten. If he is a Jedi, he will forgive. And if he is not, he will not care.
You can't tell him, please. I'm asking you. I don't want him to...
Think less of you. I hardly think that's possible. Still, there is no shame in what you ask. We all wage war with the past, and it leaves its scars. I will not speak of yours, Atten, but there is a price for such things.
What? What price?
There are those who wage war, and those who follow them. You are a crude thing, murderer, but you have your uses. You know how important this man we travel with is. Even one such as you can feel it. You will serve him until I release you.
And if I refuse?
You will not. If you do, then my silence will be broken. And then, Atten, you will be broken. You fear the Jedi, and rightly so. If Atris learns of your choices, you will never leave this place. But whatever fear you hold of the Jedi, know that if you disobey me, that my punishment will make you beg for the death that has long hounded you. Wipe the fear from your mind. You will not find blind obedience a difficult master. You chose it once. You will learn to embrace it again.
I don't know how you became such a manipulative witch, but why a vicious old scowl like yourself would even bother with me is a bigger mystery.
No game of Dajaric can be won without pawns, and this may prove to be a very long game. You are a slippery one. Your thoughts difficult for even one such as I to read. I suspect the self-loathing that squirms within you gives you a curious strength. Your spirit, as diseased as it is, refuses to allow you to give up, no matter what threats you face and whatever wreckage you leave behind you. I feel you have crossed our path for a reason. Perhaps even you, at the right moment, may be able to turn aside disaster. If so, your potential is not yet spent.
Fine. I'll be your pawn. But I still think you've got the wrong man.
Perhaps. But someone has to fly the ship, and the Force is a hard thing to predict. You have crossed our path for a reason. Our path brought us here for a reason. And now I know why. The past is here, and it must be met before the future can be set in motion.
More Jedi speak. Care to explain?
No. I've wasted enough time with you. Sleep, murderer, and be silent. I need no distractions. A critical moment approaches.
I'm going to pause here for just a moment to comment. Because, wow. Here's the interesting thing about Kreia. She is a unique form of evil. No, I don't have the Nar Shaddaa thing, by the way. She is a type of evil that isn't actively interested in hurting others, more like actively does not care about anything as long as her goals are met. She is completely ambivalent towards the concepts of ethics and morality, that particular type of evil. I've talked about this before. She takes cold calculus to the point of actually considering it her mindset, her philosophy. All that matters is the outcome. The method you have to get to there is completely irrelevant to her. Whether or not that makes her good or bad is going to be a little more debatable based on the individual. I would consider that still evil, my perspective. But once again, we see that she is neither a light side, nor a dark side, nor a gray side, nor a silver side. Really. Because what she is doing there is not the path of the Sith. And she's not the path of the dark side, and she's not the path of the light side, and therefore is automatically not the path of the gray side, which is just a mix. And she's not really following the silver side, because I've described the silver side. It's a different mindset. It's a more about, well, you know what I mean. I've talked about this before. Jolie, Qui-Gon, etc. She is, like I've described her, an anti-Jedi. Someone who is against the Force, an antithesis, an opposite, the anti-side. Yeah, we talked about this. And that scene right there is an excellent example of it. I remember the very first time I played this game, and I saw her do that horrible stuff, and it's like... And it just caught me. Because I was like, that's not really the action of a Sith. Which was my initial reaction. I had assumed, up to this point in time, that she was a Sith. I was assuming this entire time she was one of the Sith. How ironic, right? And then I saw that scene and I was like, that's not really Sith. That's different. And I didn't really have anything to put to it at the time. Obviously now it makes much more sense. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add to that, I suppose. And I agree, by the way, absolutely, Formosan. That's very much Obsidian style in general. Not really a last boss kind of a situation. Although, if you notice, BioWare tends to do that sometimes, too. Here and there, hit and miss, that kind of a thing. Anyways, moving on. I would agree with that, Formosan. Pure pragmatism in service of her unique goal. I actually can't think of anyone else whose goal was the death of the Force like hers was. So here we have Atris.
I did not expect to see you again after the day of your sentencing.
I thought you had taken the Exile's path, wandering the galaxy. Yet you have returned. Why?
So, Atris. There's actually a lot to talk about Atris, and like I said, I'm not sure where I want to talk about all of it, but suffice it to say that Atris is another example of a broken character. Someone who is broken, in this case, by the narrow dogmatic view of the Jedi. In other words, she wanted to do many things and couldn't. She wanted certain things in her life and didn't. She didn't understand why she had to think of things in terms of complexity and shadings and gray. If you have a link to it, I'll go ahead and install it, Django. But I didn't get a chance to install anything other than this one. Anyways, she is someone who is a mess. She literally wound herself around, twisted herself around her own perceived ideals. What we see in Atris is everything that happened to Bastila, except Bastila had someone there for her, light or dark. She had us, and we helped serve as a beacon to Bastila to accept and embrace the dark side, or to accept and embrace being who she is. Atris had no one. And we come back and leave, and the result is this woman who is just... I don't even know how to further explain it. I think I've explained it enough. Let me pull up this link here really quick. Oh, is this an overload one? Do I just dump this in the overloads folder? I really hate downloading through Gamefront. A lot. How often do you purchase beauty products or services? Never. How interested are you in beauty products and services? I'm not. I have accepted the fact that I am an ugly bastard. Thank you. Well, if you think about it, Gamer Techno, that makes more sense, doesn't it? The Sith have a narrow and dogmatic view too. They really do. Let's make that clear. And yet they are much more about release and freedom, and they also tend to have shorter lifespans, if I'm being honest. So it makes much more sense that they... Override. There we go. Installed. Done. That they wouldn't just break people like the way that, you know, the Jedi thing does. You know what I mean? But anyways, I'm here because a pretentious shooter stole my... I don't know what tone I want to take with her. Because we have 7 options. We've got all sorts of different perspectives. And this is, again, Obsidian's writing in a nutshell. We can determine with a great deal of variance exactly what kind of personality we have here. And I'm really torn as to what to do. Because right now we're light side leaning gray. Or gray side leaning light, excuse me. So it's not like we're the ultra forgiving type. But we're also not a dick. So, first we'll ask about our friends.
Your concern is noted. Your friends have not been harmed. They have been detained for their safety. I find it unusual that you are traveling with others again. I had thought you had forsaken the company of others after the war. Or is that why you are here?
Okay, so now we can continue, now that we've asked our friends. If you think I wanted to see your face again, you are sadly mistaken.
Yet here you are. Perhaps you do not know yourself as well as you think. Regardless, your arrival here begs an explanation. Have you come to face the judgment of the Council, as you did so many years ago? Are you finally willing to admit that we were right to cast you out?
Palpatine. Although Kreia is better at personal manipulation, Palpatine is better at long-term, you know, government, political, etc. manipulation. We've talked about this before, actually. Further, I feel that Kreia is a better planner, whereas I feel Palpatine is better on the fly. That's just my perspective. Yeah, what council, by the way? That's actually a really good question.
So you said, so long ago. I didn't believe it then, and I don't believe it now. You sought adventure. You hungered for battle. You could not wait to follow Revan to war. The Jedi Order asked only for time to examine the Mandalorian threat. They urged caution, patience, and you defied them. So when you returned, you were brought before us. You were a Jedi no longer, and so you were exiled.
She leaves out the fact that we came back ourselves. Like, we willingly resubmitted ourselves to the Council. They didn't drag us before them in chains.
There was much about that day that was difficult to forget. Your words, your defiance, and when you stabbed your lightsaber into the center stone. I had kept it, so I would never forget.
Stole it, you mean?
I have always kept it, as a reminder of what can happen when your passions dictate your actions. I have kept it, so I would never forget your arrogance or your insult to the Order.
The great irony is this broken woman who has been shattered by the Jedi teachings and has fallen. She is no longer a good person. She is effectively the wrong side of the Force. And I'm going to say it that way because it's not really about dark side so much as she's just plain wrong at this point. Is the woman who wants to restart the Council. Can you imagine how messed up this galaxy would be if Atris had succeeded in revitalizing the Jedi instead of us? Think about that for a moment. Think about how much of a... I don't even have words for that. I don't. I do not even have words for that.
It is not yours. It is a symbol of something greater which you no longer represent. But I am not unsympathetic to your feelings. Leaving the Order must have been difficult for you. Yet you gave the Council no other choice. You gave me no other choice.
We went to war to protect others, not for battle.
So your choice was to meet the aggression of the Mandalorians with more aggression. That is not the Jedi way.
Is the Jedi way to let people be massacred? But no, we're not going to provoke her. We're going to say... Oh, that's a tough one. Because 2 and 3 are both really tempting for me. Those are both very enjoyable there. Because the first is the obvious question. Is it the Jedi way to let people be massacred? Which the answer is yes. But also, I told you, it was not aggression. I was defending others. Which is also very true, at least with my exile. Oh, I'm torn. I'll let you guys decide. 2 or 3. 2 or 3. If Nightbot's working, which it doesn't look like he is. There's Nightbot. Okay. Vote 1 for 2 and 2 for 3. I know that sounds weird, but just yeah. Vote 1 for 2 or 2 for 3, okay? I know it's weird. Well, I don't think I've provoked her yet. I'm just calmly confronting her with the facts of the situation. I haven't entered provocation yet. No redo. We will do 3.
Every choice we make, whether we know it or not, sends echoes through the Force. It can awaken feelings, ignite passions, hate, anger, fear, where none existed before. By meeting aggression, by serving as an opponent against which the Mandalorians could test themselves, you fed their hate, their lust for war, and it sent a terrible echo through you. And because of it, you and those Jedi who met them on the battlefield lost their way, and you turned on us.
And were you not tempted to help the innocent?
Of course I was. But the Jedi teachings require we examine how we may best help them. Action without reflection is not our way.
So you were content to let the Outer Rim die for the sake of teachings? Ooh. Ooh, God, a lot of these are really good choices.
There was no guarantee that marching to war would have saved the Outer Rim. In fact, quite the opposite.
I agree with that, Reach. Absolutely. That's a great moment that you're mentioning there. Hey, James Hogan. Yeah, Atris is a completely broken individual. I would argue that she is completely and genuinely insane at this point in time. Yeah, by the way, for those of you not aware of this, the reason that so many Jedi died during the interesting events when Nihilus came and consumed the planet was because Atris decided to leak the location of where the Jedi were hiding. She did that on purpose to lure the Sith out. Now, she didn't intend for the horror to happen, but she did that. And then the Nihilus showed up. And you could probably guess what happened next.
A physical victory, perhaps, but the real victory lay in
the triumph of pacifism? Of surrender? How many people would have died if the Mandalorians hadn't been stopped?
You do not know.
If the Mandalorians had won, would the Jedi have fought then, or simply meditated on what to do?
How dare you? The Mandalorian War should have been your grave, and Malachor 5 is where you should have died.
Your anger. I can feel it welling within you. It makes you stronger, gives you focus. I love this cutscene, by the way, I really do. Is it because you secretly wish you had the strength to follow me to war?
What do you mean?
I can see it in you. You wanted to fight by my side, but you were too scared to defy the Council.
You're wrong, just as you were when you defied the Council. I tire of fighting with you. You lust for war, and you always will, and you have succeeded in distracting me from my questions. So answer me. If you cannot seem to admit the Council was correct, then why are you here?
I am here because a pretentious shooter stole my ship.
Your ship? Ah, the Ebon Hall. It is not your ship. Unless you're admitting to the destruction of the Paragus mining facility.
It was an accident.
Ah, an accident. Something beyond your control. You have not changed. Acting instead of thinking. Putting yourself before the galaxy, before the Jedi. Do you know what you have done?
Yeah, the funny fact is, while a lot of the Jedi Order around Palpatine's era were still stupid in many ways, and still locked in their own ways, I guarantee you that they were a lot more intelligent and more capable of thinking outside the box than the Jedi of this era. It would actually be really funny if Palpatine was back here, because at first I imagine he'd be pleased. It would be so easy to manipulate them. And then he would get really, really bored of it, and possibly even disgusted by how pathetic all these Jedi are. And at some point he would just be like, "Ah! Don't you get it? I'm the Sith Lord! Me! Right here!" "That's impossible, Chancellor. We would have known." "No! I'm right here! Here, look!" Or maybe I'm just waiting too much of that.
Without the fuel from Paragus, Citadel Station cannot maintain its orbit. It will crash into the planet, and its destruction will echo across 20 other worlds. Telos was a test to see if the Republic could mount a restoration effort on the Outer Rim. When it fails, the Republic will not finance another. The other Rim worlds, devastated by the Sith, will remain graveyard worlds, devoid of life. And that is the magnitude of your crime.
I know it was just pointed out in chat, but I gotta point out, everything she's saying here literally applies to her. Literally and directly. I'm not even kidding. An accident. Oh, it's so convenient to not think about the consequences of your actions, like luring the Sith to a council of Jedi. This will make all these worlds grave worlds, and it's all your fault. This is the magnitude of your crime, because of what she did regarding the nihilist situation that we already discussed. It literally is a one-to-one.
I have not known you since you left to serve Revan in the Mandalorian Wars. The only question that remains is how far you have fallen. How is it that you are not content to confine your ruin to yourself? You must spread it to others wherever you go.
And
Ruin
again!
yourself with your actions if you will. But when your actions bring harm to others, then you must answer for it.
Again! Directly applies to herself. She is not content to just be ruined herself. She must spread her ruin to others.
The Sith? What do you mean? You speak truly. You have encountered the Sith. I can feel the scars on
Yeah, she's right in front of me.
Where did you encounter them? Parabas? What would they want there? They can't have been looking for you. You. If they thought you were Jedi, the teachings of the Sith blind them indeed. I am the last Jedi, not you.
Oh, I
You
love how she
betrayed
says
our
that.
teachings, our beliefs, the very core of the Jedi Order. If these Sith attacked you, they will soon realize their mistake. And if you escaped, they most likely let you go to see if you would lead them here.
Oh, I'm gonna be mean. I'm gonna use the quiet revenge. Wait, what? I like that option too, Django. Reach, I could totally see that. I'm gonna be quietly vicious here. If so, then I offer my help. You will need it.
You offer your aid after turning your back on me, on the Council. The Jedi is not something you embrace out of fear. The commitment is stronger than that, something you never seem to understand.
Really? Vrook is more annoying, but I say that because Vrook is just an idiot who walks the party line. Atris at least has some complexity to how broken of a character she is. And it's arguable that Atris is a victim here of the Jedi doctrine of the code that I've already talked about, the party line. Vrook was someone who was advocating the party line from day one, may even have actually been around during the Exar Kun incident, which caused that party line to become the party line. We don't know for sure. Feel free to correct me if anyone knows that. So, yeah, I think Vrook is more irritating, personally. At least Atris is an interesting character. Vrook's just, I'm dumb, Jedi.
Perhaps. But if you help me, it cannot be done from here. There are others in the galaxy who may help us against a Sith threat. If you can find them, gain their trust, perhaps our defenses shall be stronger for it. Take your ship, seek them out. If you find them, encourage them to gather on Dantooine. From there, we can call a council and see what can be done.
Have you learned nothing? We need to go find all the Jedi Council and gather them in one place. Then everything will be better.
Then I shall send you on your way. It is now time for you to depart.
We shall remove him, mistress.
You know how much of a hypocrite Atris is, by the way? She actually sends the handmaiden to you. She orders the handmaiden to join you. But she doesn't tell anyone else. Specifically so that everyone else will think the handmaiden has abandoned her charge.
Feelings best left forgotten.
Forgive me, mistress, but I must ask. The exile. I have never seen another affect you so strongly. Did you care for him once?
The Jedi have no such attachments. As always, he will do as he wills. And the galaxy, and the feelings of others, can burn for all he cares. The day we judged him, I stood in the chamber and he was so right. He was so certain of it, I doubted myself. He chose Revan over the Jedi, over the Council, over... Now I am tired and I must meditate.
Of course, Mistress. I will tell the others you are not to be disturbed. And please, do not exhaust yourself. We can attend to matters here.
I agree, by the way, Reach. Absolutely. Vrook is a huge contributor to the problem. There is no emotion. There is jealousy. Now she's going to go meditate with her Sith holocrons. I know. There's not just Sith holocrons in there. But, I mean, really, does it never occur to her? Does it at no point in time be like, you know... What's Force Channel? Ah, right. That's my... I know what that is. Oh, like I said, I enjoy the quiet revenges, as I've talked about many times before. I showed her rather clearly and absolutely to her face that I am right. And then when she gave me the opportunity to strike back at her, I informed her rather clearly and conceitedly that I am not a bad person, and I'm totally still willing to help at this, with the sake of the galaxy at risk, rather than allowing myself to be caught up in petty vengeances like she is. In other words, she failed, Her Highness.
There was something from your past here, something unresolved. I feel we did not come to this place by chance. You were led here. This woman who resides here, she did something to you once, something that hangs upon you still.
I didn't think we could do the duels right then and there, so I totally spaced it.
I see it now. The act has left its marks. Be warned. Unresolved events from our past can create wounds in the present and the future. And more importantly, they can distract you, weaken you. It could prove fatal against the enemies we face.
Also, Formosan, my theory is that it was just a time and money issue. The whole point, and some of the developers have commented on this from the speech that Nihilus uses, it's not supposed to be speech at all. It's supposed to be just the echoes of the Force reverberating through his empty shell, as opposed to the Sith holocrons, which is the exact same voice clip, sound file, but whatever.
There is a Jedi here, perhaps, in that you are correct. Yet there are no students, and this woman, this Atris, surrounds herself with those who cannot feel the Force. Curious.
No, I'm not a partner. They just randomly gave it to me.
No, her servants are not Jedi. Their minds are walls, trained to resist tricks of the mind. This discipline blinds them to the Force as well, even if they were Force sensitive.
Anyways, the point is that my theory, which I hold as headcanon, and forever more will, is that Nihilus is not speaking the Sith language. Nihilus is speaking noise that's just kind of reverberating through him. Because he's not a person, as we've discussed many, many times.
Plans are fragile things, and life often dashes expectations to the ground. Perhaps students will come to her in time. For now, she is surrounded by those who cannot feel the Force. Very well. Let us depart. He's only sleeping. It seems the journey here has fatigued him.
I am sorry, General. I must have lost consciousness in the crash.
I like how he basically never stops calling you General. It's really indicative, I think.
I'm fine, General. Even power has been restored to my arm. What is this place? Where are we? Of course, General. If you wish, I may travel with you or join you at the ship.
Join with me.
Very well, General.
Mistress, you summoned me.
I have a task for you. The exile is dangerous. I'm concerned that he was able to return to Republic space and reach Telos without my knowledge.
Mistress, the Harbinger was lost in transit. It was our failing.
What is done is done. But now I need you to travel with him.
Mistress,
I realize what I'm asking of you. And I'm asking that you keep your purpose a secret. Even from your sisters. I need someone to watch the exile closely. And let me know if he contacts the Sith. More importantly, I need you to study him closely. I need to know what he thinks. What he does. Become part of his group. Earn his trust.
I don't know,
Get him to
Reach.
confide in you.
I will do as you ask, Mistress. But Mistress, the exile did not seem to pose a threat to us.
Ah, but he does. Do not be fooled by the exterior. It is his nature you must beware. He fell to the dark side once. He will do so again. I am trusting you with this task, last of my handmaidens. Do not disappoint me. The galaxy, the Jedi, may depend on it.
Remind me the other Jedi Masters so I can talk about them. Ascension, because I don't remember their names off the top of my head. By the way, the Exile, and this is not interpretation, the Exile up until this point in time never fell to the dark side. So that is literally a blatant, flat-out lie. And once again, actually applies to her more than it does anyone else. Doo-doo-doo! I'm sure Atris has her reasons for feeling that way. It's just that they're wrong. Let's see. Okay. We're not actually going to save just yet. Oh, good. Looks like we can still go do some duels. Yeah. Okay, Vrook. Oh, I've given my opinion on Vrook. Zaz Kal El, is that the Twi'lek? Because there's the Twi'lek, there's the there's the Twi'lek, there's the human, and there's the Yoda species. Now, the Yoda species struck me as not ignorant and not stupid so much as a weird form of naive. That... I don't know, Reach. Really, I don't. I suppose that's true, Darkwold. So, okay, fine, fair enough. It is possible we fell to the dark side. But I stand by my statement that that's Atris spin-doctoring to demonize us for basically no reason. The fact that she says that regardless of whether or not we have, as we have been clearly light side this playthrough, it makes my point for me. Anyways, but yeah, the Yoda's... The Yoda species gentleman always struck me as someone who believed in the Force in such a blind manner that certain possibilities literally never even occurred to him. That he would never actually think, oh, well, you know, maybe things will go badly, or maybe we should prepare for situations, or maybe we should be, maybe we should have backup plans, or maybe certain things are right or wrong or whatever. Regardless, that's my opinion on him. Now, the Twi'lek always struck me as the most reasonable of the three masters that I'm talking about right now. But even he still seemed to have the same problem they all do. I mean, I guess, duh, right? He's one of the sources of that problem. But the ideal of if we use anything other than the light side of the Force, if we do anything other than follow the code, then we are wrong. And we need to correct that. Now, he's probably... I say he's the nicest because he's probably the most willing to be reasonable of them, in my opinion. And therefore, he's probably the one I like the most. And yet, at the same time, his idea of being reasonable is more along the lines of, well, you've fallen to the dark side, or you don't agree with the code or whatever, but I'm totally willing to allow you to, return. To prove that you're willing to once again follow the dogma and yada frickin' yada. I think I've already given my opinion about Vrook. Now, the Masters in KoTOR 2 I have no thoughts on whatsoever, because all they are idiots. Every single one of them, and they deserve to die. That's my thoughts on that. Moving on.
Why have you approached me?
Do all these women look alike? Not like I'm complaining, I mean, well, it's interesting.
If you have a reason for approaching me, speak it. I would welcome a chance to instruct you. I have been anxious to teach you many principles of combat ever since you invaded this place. Oh yes, we train extensively in various combat styles, and we have not had another target for some time. You may prove a pleasant diversion.
Then I'll be happy to oblige.
Very well. Follow me, and we shall see if you have the endurance to learn the most basic of our teachings.
That's kind of what my point was, Frozen. I don't really have anything big or interesting to discuss about them. They're just terrible.
Are you familiar with Achani traditions?
I am, but he's not.
All duels between us shall be without armor of any kind. There shall be no restrictions upon our movements or upon yours. Your feet are not to leave the training mat during the battle. If they do, you will lose. Also, this is not a fight to the death. Restrain your instincts when we fight, and we shall do the same. The fight will be with hands and feet only. No stimulants, shields, weapons, or other items. Also, do not call upon any Jedi techniques during our contest. If you do, then the battle will be over. In turn, I will not use our higher forms, for this is only an opening battle between us. A test of each other's strength.
Okay. I don't have any armor on.
Then let us begin. You have succeeded. If you wish, you may challenge us again, and we will progress to more advanced movements. Very well. I shall honor your request. Our next battle will be using the higher forms among the Achani. You may choose hands and feet, or whatever melee weapon you wish, but use no other items or Jedi techniques.
That wouldn't surprise me, Darko.
Then let us begin.
See you around, Tryphon. Okay, whatever weapons I wish. Do my fists count? How about my feet? Is that a weapon that I can use? Excellent.
You have succeeded. If you wish, you may challenge us again, and we will progress to more advanced movements.
Okay.
Very well. I shall honor your request. Our next battle shall be free of restriction on weapons and items, and you may use whatever technique, Jedi or otherwise, you wish to attempt to defeat me. In turn, I will spare none of our forms against you.
By memory, the first two duels I just curb stomped when I was playing normally, and then the third one I had to do over and over and over again because I just kept losing.
Then let us begin.
So this is hopefully going to be rather cathartic. Beating her with just my fist. Yep. Okay. Yep.
You know much of melee combat. You surprise me.
As an aside, I've always liked the Achani ideal, because the whole point is trying to, learn how to. It's the monk thing, you know. You can be good. First you learn how to use your body as a weapon. Then you learn how to use weapons as a weapon. Then you learn how to use everything as a weapon. It's a tiered system, and the Achani in general. Well, let's just say I'd take Achani over Mandalorian or practically anyone else really any day of the week.
There is nothing more that we can teach you from such contests. Such battle would only be for battle's sake.
That never even occurred to me, Loyalist. That literally never occurred to me. I usually just tried to defeat them, straight up.
If that is what you wish, then we shall honor it. We shall see how you fight against a group of us. We shall take you in a pair, using everything at our disposal. Use whatever item, weapon, or Jedi technique you wish. We shall match it.
By the way, I shouldn't have said third duel. I meant the last duel. Because, yeah.
Then let us begin.
That's not the point, Dakota. The point is to learn how to use your body first, so that you can then use your body optimally when using it with weapons. Does that make sense?
You are a strong opponent. Atris was correct about you. You know much of war and battle. Perhaps too much. One does not sweat in the polar regions of Telos, so all that will break will be your pride.
Ah! Oh, hang on.
Then our last battle shall be the 5 of us against you. Use any item, any weapon, any technique you wish. You'll need them. There is no need for the last of us to join in this fight. The weakest among us will only serve to diminish our techniques. We fight as one when we are 5, not 6, and that number should be enough for this lesson. Very well. We shall begin.
Alright, this time, we're going to stretch just a little bit. One. Two. Hang on. 2. 3. 4. This is really satisfying. 5.
There shall be no more matches, no more challenges. There is much we have learned from you. If we meet on the field of battle, we shall be prepared.
Then we'll have to agree to disagree, Dakota. I accept. No, Shiryu, I'm just that much better than they am. I want to read this comic really quick. Good comic. You know, I keep missing the Malik sound effects.
You are the exile, the one Atris warned us about.
And what did Atris say?
She said, you betrayed the Jedi by going to war when it was forbidden to you. You turned on your masters, your teachings, and yourself.
I went to war to protect others, not to fight.
That is not all she says. She says you know nothing of loyalty to any cause except your own animal instincts. And she told us why you fell to the dark side.
Oh no, this fight was definitely in the original thing, because I remember that fight.
Atris says that you fell to the dark side in the Mandalorian Wars when you gave in to your lust for battle. Once you tasted war, you could not give it up.
So why didn't I keep fighting?
Atris says when the Dark Lord Revan returned to the Republic, you did not march with him because you had fallen so far you could no longer feel the Force.
Well, that is untrue, but Atris is entitled to her opinion.
I believe that is the extent of her expressed feelings toward you. There are variations at times, but all rise from the same foundation.
Expressed feelings?
Yes, it is difficult sometimes for others to truly speak their heart or listen to it. The words often prove difficult, or they do not come at all.
So what exactly do you think Atris's heart says?
Without having seen you and Atris fight, I cannot say. Battle is a pure form of expression. It is heart and discipline, reduced to movement and motion.
So if I crushed Atris's skull into the floor, that might get into the heart of the matter?
Perhaps. It may prove truer than conversing with words. In battle, the words are swept away, giving way to actions. Mercy, sacrifice, anger, fear. These are pure moments of expression.
That is true, Django. Both of those points are very true. I was just speaking in a different mindset, which I don't feel like getting into. So I'm just going to leave the topic behind. I'd also like to say, by the way, that it's funny that both the Jedi Council in general and the Sith in general have the exact same problem. The groupthink problem. All the Sith are like, we all want power and disruption and killing and deceiving and betraying his power. And so all the Sith are like, yes, we all agree with that. And it's the same exact damn thing with the Jedi. I just want to mention this as well, because we keep picking on the Jedi, and Lord knows they deserve it, but the Sith are basically just as guilty of being this ridiculously dumb when it comes to their outlook and their philosophy.
You may ask. I honor the face of my mother. It is not something spoken of in the company of others. I do not wish to discuss it. If there is something else you wish to ask, you may do so. There is no need to apologize. You were merely remarking on something that you saw. There is no wrong in that.
Is it a sensitive subject?
It is not a sensitive subject, but a subject that requires trust. There is no such trust between you and I, and such trust takes time.
See, I would disagree with that, honestly, Reach. I mean, there are Sith that are genuine, but the same could be said of Jedi. In my opinion, in the way that the Sith as a group tend to be portrayed, they really are the other side of the coin. Just as blind, just as dogmatic, just as feeling that, power means everything, and killing means everything. And I mean, honestly, if you think about it, the Sith follow their doctrine just as dogmatically as the Jedi follow theirs. It's different doctrine, and they're opposed to each other, but that's it. I've said this before and I say this again, I would love a story where the Sith, people who actually follow the real Sith code, and the Jedi, people who follow the real Jedi code, actually work together. Because they aren't really enemies in any sense of the word. Nothing actually makes them enemies of each other other than bias and history. Really. And so I would just love a storyline where the two sides genuinely work together. And before you quote it, yes, I know, Lord Scourge, Tor, I get it. But you know what I mean, right? A whole story about that kind of a concept would be the kind of thing I would just adore to read. But whatever.
You may ask.
Or play. And as Gavelmar there points out, there were tons of Sith followers and otherwise who were philosophers, who were like Qui-Gon. People who were not great warriors or great leaders or great mages with the power. They were just people who followed the Sith. And, I mean, for God's sakes, one of the things that I like that Tor did is it showed us a lot of Sith, former and current, who had brains, who actually thought about things, who actually were thinking about things. And again, as was pointed out, we're philosophers. We're people who thought about their purpose in life and the way, and tried to analyze the Force as a thing, and just, some really good stuff there, It's just, I believe they did it on purpose. I know they did it on purpose in this one, because one of the biggest points of KoTOR 2 was to deconstruct Star Wars as a whole and show that the light and force sides and the dichotomy between the two was dumb, especially since both of them are wrong, at least as far as the extremes. But I digress.
Before you go, Exile, question for you, if I may ask it. You have touched the Force. What does it feel like?
Oh, absolutely, Taito. That was there is so much amazing stuff in the Light Side Sith Warrior storyline. One of my favorite pieces overall is we encounter these two Jedi, and we tell them flat out, I don't want to hurt you. They lay a trap for us because we're a Sith, and they're there to kill us because we're a Sith. And we say, no, dude, we're not your enemy. We don't want to fight you. And then you try to talk them down, and you can't because they are so blind in their dogmatic belief that Sith equals evil that they refuse to negotiate or talk with you and try to kill you. And we have to defend ourselves to the death in order to survive the attack by the Jedi. Absolutely love that section.
Then tell me of its absence. I see. Thank you, Exile. I appreciate you sharing your knowledge with me.
I'm pretty sure they never mention midichlorians in any of this stuff. I could be wrong about that, though. Oh, that's true, isn't it? The old Jedi from Tython. There's a lot of ancient stuff from Tython regarding the Force users is probably the best way to use that. And as has pointed out before, the ones around the Nar Shaddaa era were not evil to start. They were just using the dark side of the Force to try and make things better and help things, and they were banished for that by the Light Masters. But I talked about that last game. Damn it, why do I keep getting light side points? I don't feel like I'm playing that much of a good guy. I just feel like I'm playing a... Well, I guess that's a lie. I feel like I'm playing a gray guy. But whatever. Let's get out of here. If I can remember how. Well, it's got to be this way then. Was it a Juntapal? I admittedly get their names mixed up. The old dark users. Oh yeah, hang on. Sorry guys, I'll put my gray robes back on. And I don't remember how to switch between weapons. There we go. We're good. T3!
Well, if it isn't the one who stole the Ebonhawk. Not so smug now, are you, you little thief?
It is unlikely the droid stole the vessel.
Says you.
Is this your droid? It looks badly damaged. Dissected.
No, T3. I like T3. Did they wipe your name, Nathrazim? Anyways, this is the second game of the Star Wars RPGs. I know, you're like, well, there's lots of No, there really aren't. There's basically two. Why would she want what's in your memory core? Of course, I know the answer to that. She's looking for the information on where Revan went. Why would she want that? You can fill me in. Let's get you out of there. You know, Taitu, I fully agree with that. I really do. The only person... I've said this before. I've often felt the only person who could really reach Anakin and really convince him of the danger he was going down was Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan didn't. Because... yeah. Yes, we have Arthas, but we've only gotten like one step into it so far. And yeah, I've played all 8 storylines, and we will be playing all 8 again, probably, I'd say next week at this rate. We might be taking the 4th off, not because I have anything planned, because I don't, but because I imagine a lot of you guys have things planned. I'm pretty sure Revan would have just been like, "What, another stupid Jedi? Haven't I just dealt with lots of you?" Yeah, I talk about that in my rumination, Junland. Okay, so what glitch am I going for here, Django? I mean, this is cool and all, and I'd totally do this if I had a lightsaber in real life. Seriously, I'd spend like 5 minutes just doing this for fun. You would too. Don't deny. Look, I got lightsabers! I got lightsabers! Favorite Sith Lord across everything? Palpatine. Easy answer. I got a few after him, though. Barriss is up there.
Mistress, the last of the handmaidens is not among us.
She has left with the exile.
Left? But why? Her oath.
I sent her to travel with the exile. She may discover something I cannot.
Mistress?
Actually, yeah, Aquamaster. First of all, shoutouts, Aquamaster. Welcome to my stream. I have a YouTube channel under the same name. It's Arshay Gaia, or you can look up Lorerunner. And I tend to put all my pre-recorded and stream stuff up there. All of this will be going live, as well as my KoTOR 1 run and the Tor run that I was just mentioning that I'll be doing next week. And have a good night. Hope you get some good sleep. Favorite Jedi? Define Jedi.
The last of the handmaidens. She is willful, and she has demonstrated her fascination with Jedi. It may not have been why.
I know what I have done, but it was necessary.
Not that I'm aware, Dark Blaze. Oh yeah, I've got a website too.
Now that we're off that Dajaric board of a planet, I say we burn sky until we see lines.
I talked about it earlier, Nothrazim. It's pretty complicated, like really complicated. Okay, remember, so stupid Jedi, favorite stupid Jedi. Honestly, I'm going to have to go ahead and go with Yoda. Because Yoda has definitely demonstrated that he is stupid in more ways than one, but thanks to his approach. But he is still an awesome character, and is still probably one of the only ones that actually can still accomplish things despite that. Although I will admit, Mace Windu is up there as well. Favorite light side Force users? Good night, Deutsch. Get less drunk. Light side Force users, that's way bigger of a list. Luke is probably going to be my favorite, for the reasons I already mentioned. His lack of reliance on the Force is a big deal to me. Obi-Wan, despite his dogmatic views and his adherences to things, he's still one of the only Jedi who is willing to actually use his head in that era, and then actually learned and adapted from it, along with Yoda. Satele Shan, who is actually a really cool character. I just wish she hadn't been quite as ridiculously powerful as she was. She does feel just a little bit too strong in Tor. But ignoring that, her character is interesting, and I do like her character for that reason. And following that, I'm probably going to have to go with... Oh, that's a tough one. Plo Koon. No. I'm going to have to go with Mara Jade as the last one. As number 4.
What is the machine saying?
Oh, here. Sorry, not Is this better? There's a holorecord of my trial in Atris's records.
We seem to have found it.
Yes, I do, Taitu. Absolutely. You already pointed out the biggest problem with using a lightsaber. I've thought about that myself, too. Hello,
Do you know why we have called you here?
Screw you, Vrook. I came because I chose to, not because you summoned me.
As Revan summoned you, so have you come full circle to return to the Jedi.
Why did you defy us? The Jedi are guardians of the peace, and have been for centuries. This call to war undermines all that we have worked for.
Is Revan your master now? Or is it the horror you wrought at Malachor that has caused you to see the truth at last?
Yes, I did mention that the fact that there would be a different Admiral if we chose Darkseid. Admiral, nameless, worthless guy who barely has any relevance to the story, which is why I only mentioned it in brief. Hey, my glasses are awesome, Nathrazim. Yeah, lightsabers have this whole gyroscopic thing going on, but I mean, really, if you've ever done any real-life sword fighting, you know that one of the biggest challenges to overcome when you first start is getting used to the weight of it. Even a little sword has a lot of weight and momentum for it, and that's a lot of what goes into sword fighting styles, right? When you have a little lightsaber, all of that is gone. It's a completely different mindset, but I do firmly believe someone who doesn't use the Force could still use it. It would just be very dangerous and very risky to do. Learning how to use one would be insane. But then again, they do, in canon, make lightsabers that don't cut through everything, that just kind of go bzzz. So if you had access to one of those, it would be much easier to learn how to use it and train with it, you know? I slaughtered every Mandalorian I could.
You refuse to hear us. You have shut us out. And so have shut yourself to the galaxy.
We feel that your true understanding of what happened at Malachor 5 will only happen in time, and it cannot happen here, near the battlegrounds where you fought.
You are exiled, and you are Jedi no longer.
There is one last thing. Your lightsaber. Surrender it to us.
Enjoy. Yes, and Givelmar. That's always been my perspective. It would just be much more difficult because the Force can...
You are correct, Kavar. When he was here, I felt it. It was as if he was not there. More like an echo.
Revan's influence has grown amongst the youngest of the Order. He speaks to their passions, not their sense. The war has touched them. Many of them have found themselves in the war against the Mandalorians.
It is as I feared, and I fear that we have played into the hands of the enemy.
We have not lost a Jedi this day. You felt it. He has lost himself. He is no Jedi. He walked Revan's path, but he was not strong enough.
I fear it is our teachings that may have led Revan to choose the path he did.
Ding 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 ding
The
ding.
ones who taught him.
We take responsibility, Atris, not cast blame.
The choice of one was the choice of us all. Revan's teacher intended no harm, and Revan had many teachers since.
Yet they all stem from the same source. Her teachings violated the Jedi Code and lead all who listen to the dark side, as they did the exile.
You are wrong. The dark side is not what I sensed in the exile. Surely the rest of you felt it as well. That emptiness we felt. He has changed.
Whatever that wound was, it was of the dark side. We should not have let him depart. He will simply join Revan again, or perhaps worse.
What would you have done with him, Atris? Be mindful of your feelings. This is not Revan who stood before you. This one walks a different path.
No, although that may come in time. We let him go because we must. Where he travels, he carries his destination with him.
Malachor 5 should have been his grave. You saw it in his walk, and in the Force. It was as if he was already dead.
No, not death. Many battles remain for that one, if what we have seen is true. But the future is a shifting thing, and he cuts like a blade through it.
We should have told him the truth. A Jedi deserves to know.
No good would have come from it, even if what you believe was true. There's still the matter of Revan, and such truths could leave us vulnerable on two fronts.
Perhaps in many years, we will call him before us and explain what happened to him, and how he may be healed. Until then, he must accept his journey.
But he may never discover the truth, and he will never know why we cast him out.
And that is the future we must accept.
Those Jedi sure like their secrets, don't they?
Yeah. This is just standard Jedi arrogance, as Tai2 just pointed out. It's not just in this era, but it's in the future as well. We're going to push you out of the Order, and therefore you are no longer a Jedi. Okay, they still have the Force, they still have all their knowledge, they still have all their abilities, so I'm not sure what exactly that accomplishes other than removing them from the library. Except even that wasn't actually true, as we saw with Tyrannus. See you around, gentlemen. Earlier I was mentioned that Angevilmar said that you believed you can only use the Force with the lightsaber. I'm curious why. Or you only use the lightsaber with the Force. Why do you think that, out of curiosity? What's your theory? What's your reasoning for that one? Excuse me. That's a good point, Fu. I mean, how could you be without the Coon? Vrook. So this is Zez Kyle. Okay, he is all right, and so is Kavar, admittedly. Even though they're both still wrong and stupid. Enjoy dinner, Raven. I know those people.
A strange coincidence.
It is no coincidence. There is some larger plan at work here, and we are walking into it. This is too convenient to be anything but a trap.
Yes, Han Solo uses a lightsaber briefly to slice open a Tauntaun in Empire. Grievous uses lightsabers as well, although that's debatable if there's any Force ability there.
Those are Atris's records you have stolen.
What the hell are you doing on our ship?
I have come to join you. I can help you against this threat.
Well, we don't want your help. Or any of your sisters.
If it comforts you to believe that, then so be it. But the enemies you face are many, and you will need all the help you can get. It is just me, and I am doing this because Atris believes you will need help.
Do you think we need help?
I think the strength of the enemy is unknown, but it is greater than 5 can hope to defeat without aid.
Okay, Angevilmar, I get that. I don't actually personally agree with it, but I do kind of get what you're saying, and I actually would not be surprised if you need to be able to use the Force in order to be able to use it, fully, in order to use lightsabers to the fullest extent of their capabilities.
Indeed. But of course, what does one more matter to our journey? I have had enough of this. I will be in my chambers.
Yeah, me too. I'll be in my chambers. But since I don't have any, I guess I'll just go to the cockpit like I always do. If she's coming with us, she gets the cargo hold. Might remind her how fun it is to get locked up.
General.
The cargo hold is enough. I assure you, there is little I need. I will attend to myself.
I'll be nice to her.
It is no matter. I am used to worse conditions, but thank you for your kindness.
General, is there a reason you don't carry a lightsaber anymore?
Hang on. I have them in my hands in the cutscene. It was taken from me.
That's not your lightsaber anymore. That belonged to someone who served Revan in the wars, not the person you are now. You could build another one, if you wanted to, but you know that.
I'm not afraid of building a new lightsaber. See?
I never said you were, but whatever the reason, you should put it behind you. I know this. A lightsaber is part of who you are. Without it, you're not complete.
Very well. There's some parts I'm gonna need.
I think I can help you out there. I happen to know the parts you need.
Since when did you become an expert, Bowder?
I spent a lot of time around Jedi during the war. None of them would let me take their lightsaber apart, but I did learn about their construction. We need a power cell, emitter matrix, lens and focusing crystal. Though I have to admit the crystal is beyond my means. Never did understand them. Those parts are fairly common, though a Jedi once told me that it's best if your lightsaber reflects you, and if it is constructed of things that identify it as your own. Just bring the parts to me before you get started building it. I'll make sure they're usable.
I did build that one, you're right, Macromana.
For the last time, no. Because you're programmed to force your opponent to go first, and nothing will convince me the computer doesn't cheat. Even if I didn't have to go first and somehow I didn't suspect you of counting cards, I still wouldn't play with a trash compactor.
Aww. Be nice to T3.
Yeah? How many credits?
Atton.
Is that you've gone for a long time without a memory wipe. Most droids behave erratically under those circumstances.
Yeah, 5+ years, by the way.
I know that, but I'm fixing everything else around here, so I may as well take a look at you too.
No. No memory wipes. We just talked about this. No memory wipes.
What was that? That's what I'm talking about. That is not normal droid behavior.
Not that I'm aware, Silver Black, but there might be.
I am not pushing you around. I just wanted to see if there was anything I could do to upgrade your functionality.
Don't worry. Bowdur knows what he's doing. It's okay, T3.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
It's
Good.
okay.
Now let's get started.
No. You better not wipe his
Wouldn't
memory. I'm
guess
going
it
to
from
kill
the
you.
outside, but it looks like you've been through a lot. I'll bet. I'm all done with you. If anything comes loose, let me know and I'll put it back in place.
Yay! Yep. Bzz. Save.
Hey, General, are you alright? You look like you've been standing too close to one of my shield generators. Whoa, claws out today, aren't they? Seriously, you don't look that way from spending extra time in the fresher. I've seen other Jedi, not many but a few, who look like that. And I feel a little strange around you. A little more in control, calm, like I usually only get when I'm repairing something.
Well, it's because I'm a black hole, and so anything that would have been causing you grief is coming into me along with the rest of you, actually. So, don't think about it too much, but it's okay. I got it under control, I think. I'm not going to turn into Nihilus. It's cool. Tattoo, I personally think it was just an episode 1 thing. If there might be some significance to the tattoos, but it wouldn't surprise me all that much. What are you doing? Oh, there is a mod for it. Yay!
Alright, if you don't want to talk about it, I won't press you. Was
No,
this something you wanted me for? That old thing? I built him when I was a kid. Been following me around for years now, despite what I've done to try and chase him off.
Hello, Remote.
Hey,
I'm going to
just
be very
kidding.
sad when you
I'm
die.
happy to have you around. He helps me out with repairs. I outfitted him with a cutting laser and some other tools for delicate modifications. He's also good for singeing the pants of annoying techs.
Yes, Titans. It would be drawing him towards the dark side rather than drawing him towards
I've been
calm.
thinking about doing some other work on him, but I barely have time. Too busy fixing up the ship. Something else I can help you with?
Oh, sorry, spoilers. I'm a black hole. Spoilers. But yeah, that's why you can influence their disposition, their tendency towards light or dark, their tendency towards being aggressive or passive, because you are literally drawing them into you and affecting them with the ripples of your existence as you do so.
If the Republic would just rein Zerka in, there'd be no problem. But as long as Zerka is allowed to undermine the Ithorians' efforts, Telos will remain dead. I can't take seeing my work being used by those bloodsuckers. But there's nothing I can do about it, so let's talk about something else. Something else I can help you with?
I am a black hole of spoilers, guys. Sorry. Spoilers come here to die.
I got tired of it. Kept dropping my high-dose banner. Figured I'd get a new one.
Sleep, Junko, sleep. And I'll go to Nar Shaddaa and do the best scene in the entire game without you.
I was only kidding. Actually, it was a souvenir from Malakor. I was lucky it was all I lost. But at least it gave me something to do, right? Everyone always said I was probably half machine anyway. Something else I can help you with?
Let's do a quick save. Just for you guys, we're going to race to Nar Shaddaa and try and get that cutscene. Just before everyone goes to bed. Then we'll come back and do some conversations. I'm going to Nar Shaddaa next anyways. See, Taitu has the right of it. I mean, even my shirt is black now.
Well, here we are. The Smuggler's Moon. It's the gaping maw of Nar Shaddaa, swallowing all the cargo and spaceport thugs the galaxy has to offer. Mandalorians, mercenaries, war veterans, and pilots from the Mandalorian Wars and the Jedi Civil War ended up on Nar Shaddaa, from all sides of the conflict. When the last war ended, there was no place left for them to go. Nar Shaddaa's a rough place and easy to get lost in. Or for someone to get lost. If we wanted to keep out of sight from the Sith for a while, you couldn't pick a better spot.
Let's do it.
I've plotted a course for the refugee sector and we should touch down within the hour. Once we're down, we should finally be able to breathe easy. There's no way anyone's gonna find us here.
Why did you say that, Adam? Silent cutscene. Coruscant wannabe. Although it's worth noting that Nar Shaddaa has always been called a city planet. Yeah, and Gevelmar, I've noticed that. Tor is really bad about that. I mean, I love Tor, but man, let them die. I'm in a hurry, Django. You need to go to bed. Wait, what? Oh, right. I know that ship. Hello, Hanhar. You evil, psychotic bastard. There's the twins. There's the bots. And I don't think this black droid is relevant at all.
Perhaps you have heard that the Jedi comes to Nar Shaddaa. While he walks upon the Smuggler's Moon, he is not to be harmed. You may watch him, observe his movements, but nothing more. You must, because one Jedi attracts others. It is the way of things.
Bomabe want to susintu mukarata. To esrectonatada bear mabachokto. Torenibu inturata sisi meborokra.
Vanisokokran, joka mata storch bandocha. Joanna masaranka ma ramazurata. Keso juskrita lorsa. Numacha foeko mikojira.
Yeah, I really enjoy the fact that GoTo's information is so good that he already knows we're here within literally minutes.
request. If KoTOR's vessel is no longer neutral ground, inform us so that we might initiate assassination protocols and commence firing at once.
The Hupo Botenyo go Jucho Picha, when Tabani Sochu, Norotoga Proto Lala Shishi, Juvadosa Jibacha, Ratak Mansa, Tokosha Nachito, Joanna Masaranka Ma Ramazurita, Keso Juskrita Lorsa, Yumacha Fueko, Mikojira, Kawanabota Tagwa Kankadira, Utaka Alwanji, Umaliba, Tues Mahavika.
I was actually just listening for a kachi somewhere in any of their dialogue.
Observation. Jedi follow the self-destructive path of pacifism and tolerance. They will not attack first.
Honta Nosak, Jita Bedwana Maticha, Doveri Nincha, Yonona Shitasa Chuch, Si Machadana, Dona Wisurcha Makaran.
Ah, the beautiful stench and decay of desperate living.
This moon, it teems with life. It is difficult to center oneself.
Welcome to Nar Shaddaa. Towering buildings kilometers high and miles deep, with canyons so wide you could have a dogfight in them. Word of warning, watch where you step, or you'll fall for hours. Alright then, let's move out.
It does not.
Yeah, blah 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 blah. I'm just kind of blazing through this because we're gonna reload.
You there!
Wait, what the?
What's with you? Letting that piece of junk sink its struts into my landing pad. It'll be fine where it is. Yeah, I guess you're right. And by right, I mean you're wrong. Telling me it'll be fine where it is. What, you think I'm stupid?
Anyways.
Yeah, you
Okay, so let's bring T3, and that's it. Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna quick save.
No.
This isn't it. At least I don't think so. Really? Okay. Alright, bye. You're free.
I saw what you did to those exchange thugs.
Of course.
Thank you.
Why did you do such a thing? Such kindness.
This is a really screwed up scene right here. But we're gonna skip this because, again, we're literally just trying to race to the big scene before John goes to bed. If anyone remembers where it is exactly, that'd be awesome. Because I don't.
Hey, I saw that ship you... It's the Ebon Hawk, isn't it? She was stolen from me during... We'll see about that.
Left side, thank you.
Your thoughts are disturbed. It is Nar Shaddaa. It... And...
Are these them?
Please, look, I already paid the exchange what I have. But oh, look, here's the one with your credits. About time. Look, these gentlemen are getting impatient.
You too. Give me all your credits and then jump into the central pit. Jumping into pit is a good idea. Get to ground faster that way. So there's this chasm over there I want you guys to look into. And you know what amuses me the most is the idea that after a few minutes, possibly longer, as they're plummeting, all of the effects of the mind control wear off, and they're just laying there like, "Ah, why, you bastard Jedi! Why did we do this? Why?" Now we just need to get all these other people jumping into the chasm, and we'll be good. I'm sorry. I love that scene, and I do it that way every single time. Let's go ahead and reset to get that mod going really quick. Yeah, really? Oh, I absolutely do, Chemic. It really depends on RNG as to what and if they hit anything on the way down. If things actually go pretty badly, they'll just fall for quite a while. Okay. Actually, what time is it? This is actually a good time to pause for a bit. So we're going to go ahead and take a brief dinner break, and then we'll be back to have more cutscenes, more conversations, and a brief discussion about Nar Shaddaa. So I hope you'll join me for it. And good night, Django, since I know you're going to bed. See you around, guys. And see you around, Arthas.